Welcome back to No Man's Sky. Oh, I seem a little out of breath. That's because I just got back from the gym. I can barely raise my arms. It hurts, but it's all good. I gotta get back in shape. So it occurred to me that I have done next to Nathan about the shipbuilding, which is a pretty integral part of this awesome game. And as you may know from my previous playthroughs, I'm quite a fan of collecting ships. Matter of fact, that's how I earned quite a bit of money early on in game here. Earning money by picking up other ships and scrapping them for parts. But now we are at the Corvette incidences. Segment part? The Corvette of No Man's Sky. And I have here my Corvette, the Utashiya of Dreams. No, I'm not quite that creative. It auto-names some of your ships, and I just thought that one was so darn cool I kept it. You have the ability to color these parts, and then you have the ability to invert the color direction on the parts. So as you see here, these blue and red contrast pieces are contrasted to the gray, primarily silver gray pieces here, because they're flipped. And I like how it looks. Ooh, look at that pretty little solar ship over there. I've been looking out for one of those, even though they look like a funky parrot. Maybe a cockatiel. I don't know. In real life, I probably wouldn't want to stand directly on the engine exhaust. I'm sure those are rather hot. Then again, we have upgraded the old exosuit quite a bit. I have much more... Oopsie. Gotta charge it. Cold thermal resistance, hot thermal resistance, and radioactive resistance, in addition to our core health boost and shield strength boost, and our core health boost and shield strength boost, in addition to our shield strength boost and core health boost, which you can tell is kind of my favorite module at the moment. We have Artemis's translator. Bear with me, I'm kind of throwing a lot out just because I haven't made a video in a little bit. Not entirely true. I have made videos in a little bit, but I've done them on silent while I was doing other stuff, thinking that I would get around to re-editing and making sure that everything was good, and then posting the videos, and then promptly not doing that with videos. And I gotta move on from over here because I'm gonna get real distracted by these cool-looking ships over here. That is an Explorer type. I've never seen those wings. Heck! Anywho, by warping around to some newer sectors and gathering up tons and tons and tons and tons of parts, there are over 150 modules in all for Corvette building. There are plenty of wonderful playthroughs online showing you how to do that on YouTube. Ignore, of course, the stuck pieces that I don't think are actually there. I think this is a graphical glitch. Then again, don't know, maybe I've just lost some hydraulic wiring and some cadmium or carbon completely. I don't know what's going on. Don't want to fret with it right now. There are over 150 modules that you can pick up, and far beyond the basic modules, which you can start off purchasing to slap together a high-end Corvette of your own, if you consider C-Class high-end, and you're not a Mercedes fan or something. Not that those aren't high-end. You can then from there go into purchase modules once again, trade advanced modules, and you'll never guess, trade advanced modules. Now, I have noticed that you can trade for one module, you can put up several others as collateral, you can stack them up until eventually you get to a point where they might trade you and give you the module. Sometimes you luck out and you get it for the unlikely or the less likely trades. Sometimes you have to stack it all the way up and throw in a thruster or a stabilizer or something that's actually a more valuable part. The propeller modules work particularly well. So, I haven't tried it yet. I'm assuming you can buy more valuable parts and then more or less even trade. Don't know if that works. Don't quote me. But I have come to discover that I rather enjoy, on this Utashiya of dreams, having a separate cargo space. I didn't think that the ship would end up looking so much like this. I thought we were going to go with a knockoff DS9 Defiant, a rounded, teardrop-y shaped ship with some pontoons, maybe. It hadn't had the pontoons for a long time, but we put on pontoons. Because as I was building the ship, and as I flew around searching for modules, and if you haven't watched one of the videos, here's a spoiler. You fly in your Vette, you hop out of the pilot seat of your Vette. You then scan, find the yellow little Wi-Fi symbols that show you there is a buried module or a Corvette module. You mark it, jump back in your pilot seat, and fly that module down. Then hovering overhead, you blast the ground until the modules come floating up into your ship. Being all that well and good, I quickly ran out of space, as, if you played the game at all, you know we're liable to do. Run out of all your space real fast. So, it occurred to me that one of the best ways to deal with this was put my storage in a full-on hab. So this is a full-size hab. And because I thought, well, I have full-size habs up top, I could put the cargo up there, but that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any in-universe sense. And I like world building, so I thought, you know what would make the most sense? Is if your cargo is closest to the doors. And for the longest time, I had a door up here, under the cockpit, and my door, by default, you'll have a boarding ramp in the back of your ship. But that didn't seem direct enough for me, because you come into the back of the ship, and then you've got your cargo bays over here. That's silly. Nay, I say, nay. So what we've done here is we have our cargo bays in the nacelle and or pontoon sticky outy bits over here. So the cargo gets loaded directly under the wings. I like this much better than my original design that had habitation dwellings, domiciles there with beds in them, because that would mean in space combat, you're getting your bedrooms blown up as one of the main parts of the ship that gets hit. Why does that matter to me more than the cargo? I don't know. I'm just going to say I assume people would be in the bedrooms during combat. I don't know for how long, but I just can't assume. I don't know that much about the world in which we are world building. So, be that as it may, I am in here looking around, finding out that this is, I believe, a different coloration. Hold on a moment and indulge my twitch. That yellow circular wing fighter right here, I recently picked one of those up. I threw away or traded in the pillar. I keep calling it the Pillar of Autumn because I just can't stop. But the pillar of whatever the heck it was. And I'm going to eventually pick one up again. I'm going to eventually pick up another pillar because I like that little fighter ship. It was a neat little fighter ship. But the yellow one just looks so much cooler. And it's a good change from the red. I like the red and white. I like the red solar ship I have. But it's good to change. It's good to change. So we picked that up. We made a little bit of a profit. Bumped up to a B class. I didn't want to spend all of the money I had, or I would have traded it quickly for an A class. I found it was very similar. That ship seems to be pretty common. Oh no. Well, I've noticed something horrible. But I'm not going to cry about it too hard, because I moved around the modules so much, I've lost my +3 in cargo slots. I had this duplicated 3 times. Now it's only twice, which I guess is not quite as bad as it could be. But it's not the best assist in the world. It's just not the best assist. I suppose that's fine. For the time being, we're going to just call that handy-dandy fun. Get these back into the things they're supposed to be in. Now, is that a Nope, that's not a boosted slot. You'll notice, if you know anything about the game, you probably already know this, but throwing it out there, these slots are supercharged. They're boosted. So anything you put within these slots, you boost the technology that's in those slots. If you want to boost your cargo space, I have absolutely no idea. Does that help boost your cargo space? I have absolutely no idea, because it says it should, but it doesn't show me whether or not it actually does. So the answer is not sure. Sure, comma, not. Alright, let me do a little more compulsive reorganizing here while I'm in here. And we've got that there. You also notice that all the modules need to be linked, or need to be close to each other, so that they can snuggle up upon each other and just feel better. I think it has to do mostly with feelings. Not really sure though, as I am not a ship module. Now, some of that will actually make a large difference in gameplay. There are plenty of videos on that. I may touch on it a little more later on. We will just have to see. So on this ship, I've gone through several, I dare say many, iterations of this hecking ship. And now that I'm looking at it back here, I might actually extend this half over. But let's go take a walk through, see what you folks think. Alright, so I have my main entrance here in the back of the ship, the bay. We have a side window port facing backwards, a side window port. Port as in not the port and direction on a ship, but a port as in a window to look through. This is the front-facing viewport. Then we have our cargo loading ramps up here that I've sort of already given you a decent overview of. Here's more of them. Slapped on these big, beautiful photon cannons because they're big and they're beautiful and they're photon cannons. And one of these are infraknife. Two of those probably. And then two of those are something else. What else? Ah yes, these are the photon cannons. Never you mind me. That is a phase beam array. Phase beam array is the glowy, spiffy looking one up there. These are the photon cannons. And then under there, the suspicious looking sphere and rod modules are, those are infraknives. Messed around with it a bit. Phase beams are killer. The photons are just my favorite because they're nice and simple and straightforward. And the Ultra one that I forget the name of already, as I am liable to do. Where are you? Where did you go? Ah yes, the phase beam array. Phase beams are very pretty. They zip zap, zippity zap. All converge, green beam, laser, slice and dice, whatever the heck you want. It's fantastic. The infraknife's pretty cool. I'm sure there's a way I could boost him and make him more effective. All that aside, I am not going to worry too much about the order of the cargo containers. I have other modules that I kind of want boosted a little more right now because I'm getting into more space combat. And frankly, the storage containers link with your freighter. And I'm a late adopter of this game, right? So I came to the game after the freighter was a major part of the game. I don't quite know when I'm going to get around to actually laying out my freighter and installing the additional bays that these require on the freighter, but they sync. So Cargo Bay 0 and Cargo Bay 1 are on my freighter. Cargo Bay 2 and 3 are not on my freighter, but I can still put cargo in them. And I think that's absolutely fantastic because I get an additional 50 slots per one of these guys and think that those two little nacelles or pods or cargo containers on the bottom of the ship, more than worth it. I tell you what, we're going to keep those guys right up in there. And I have to say, I really do like the Outlaw style. I really like the mercenary Thunderbird. What is it? The first style hab you get. Very, very, very reminiscent of the Millennium Falcon. Very much so. It's going to be very Star Warsy, very gritty future tech. It's going to be real. It's Thunderbird. Thunderbird class halves are going to be very much that gritty, almost wood panel looking interior. Hilarious because it's probably the Lucasfilm Arts, whatever model on site was probably built with a lot of plywood. Anywho, you'll get a lot of that very gritty, technical feel. With these other modules, the Ambassador class that I'm now using, I have not seen Titan all that much. Titan, I believe, is like a Star Cruiser, a larger, much larger vessel. But for the time being, I've been messing with the Ambassador class modules. And the Ambassador classes, well, they're plain pretty, as you've seen inside. I guess I could extend those rooms a little if I wanted to. Sorry, I'm very into building out the ship, as you may be able to tell. But the Ambassador class has all of these lovely padded spaces, those window seats where you can hop right in up there, read a nice book while you're cruising at sublight speeds or even light speeds. And if you cruise on over into the cargo bay, we get this nice future clean look. You get another pretty little window seat. Even in your cargo bay, it's still a very nice, very futuristic HAL 9000 kind of experience that I quite enjoy. I don't know that I appreciate the wings here. I'd kind of like to go straight from cargo. I could slap a hab in here. You know, I could put some more beds on the ship. But then into the main gantry or the walkway. So, and then up here, we have our cockpit. I made the mistake early on of putting the mission computer right here on one of these pretty walls, which, I'm sorry, sir. Why do you ignore the computer behind the curtain? Why are you a completely different... I have changed the color of that piece without entirely meaning to. And I don't believe I can get back to it from here. Yep, I think that I'm going to have to do that with the exterior construction. Yep, you can change the interior colors of walls. Haven't quite gotten around to doing a lot of it, as you can tell. But, gosh, am I gonna. Because that gray charcoal looks so much prettier. It just does. I put a mission computer here initially, and I'm going to show you why that's a real bad idea. I have slabbed my mission computer way over on this wing side here. The problem is, with the mission radar, is every time I would go in to get in my heckin' cockpit, I would run all the way up there, I'd be right there, I'd hit C, or sorry, E, the interact key, and I would be in the mission computer. Like clockwork. Not once would it sit me down in the pilot seat. Which if I were up here next to the pilot seat, holding down E, you better bet that's exactly what I wanted, but it wouldn't let me. It didn't like me. So I had to move the mission computer or the mission radar over to here. What I then did is I have a hab back here, or I keep calling these habs, but this is a bed. This is a crew bunk. I have one of the living walls, which is the way that you hydroponically grow food. Haven't messed around with that yet. May move that over on this side, because right now I have another pod, a bay, that you can bunk in, right next to a kitchen. The nutrient processor kitchen. So, there's room enough for 2 of those bunks over here if we really wanted. There's room for 2 downstairs. This ship got rather large without me even meaning to make it large, but here we are. So, got my nutrient processor. One of the great things about the nutrient processor, too, is if you're a new adopter, throw one of these bad boys in your ship. Throw it in there. Don't even question it. Throw it right in there. Because, I tell you what, this guy has all of the ingredient space you could hope for. You just get free space, including for your creature pellets. Free storage space, including for your chromatic metal, including for your condensed carbon and your carbon. Base element types. You get storage! And those milks always throw me because I feel, oh yeah, okay, some of them stack. The stacking in this game will never cease to annoy me. Anywho, you get a ton of storage. And then at 50 apiece for those other cargo racks, I mean, heck yeah. Bruh. I'll tell you what. Now, there are plenty other videos where you can check out the Thunderbird class. Just be advised that I just absolutely love the Ambassador class. I can't help it. I was going to leave Thunderbird class down here because it does look more cargo-y, you know, to have a bunch of stuff strapped in netting. And cargo, but this just looks so cool. It just looks so cool. And then I have this functional window with a nice window seat in it. I just love it. I can't help it. You know, and I'm a little annoyed that I duplicated the hydraulic panel here with the hydraulic panel up top to decorate the wings, but I just love it. I just love it. Now this is a reverse-facing thruster to kind of cover up some of this shield bobble, which, as you may guess, apparently is Atlas technology. Don't want to spoil anything about the game because I think I may have inadvertently spoiled a little more than I wanted to, and that's a bummer, but Atlas is something that we may or may not interact with in the game. Another race, mayhap, of superior technology. And another faction. I like faction. I don't like the R word. It bothers me for some reason. But there we are. I mean, this is the Utashiya of dreams. I am blown the heck away that under 60 hours in-game, I have been able to barter for and gather this many awesome parts and put together a Corvette that to me looks awesome. You don't have to think this looks awesome, that's fine. It's I've got my own goofy style going here, but to me, this looks awesome, and it's everything I would want to blast through the stars in myself. If I were going to take a nice little spacecation with my household over here. So I am really, truly happy with this little starship. I'm going to get back to messing with some stuff, probably changing the interior panels. Hopefully I can figure that out. Shouldn't be too hard, but you never know. And I gotta say, I really am enjoying the game. You know, aside from some gripes, which I'm gonna have with any game, just like all of us will have with any game. I think this is a fantastic game. I think the devs have done a wonderful job, and as much as people complain, I'm not saying this, but I've seen complaints about spaghetti code and the lazy developers and this and that. Not one of us is out here deving a game from a full cycle. Not one of us is out here actually building a game from the ground up. So, in my opinion, we have absolutely no idea what that's like. And it bothers me a bit when people judge developers so harshly, but based on what they want to see in a game. Because I got you. I get it. Believe me. Like there's certain stuff that I would love to see in a game too. But I mean, there's a lot that goes into game development that I don't think people actually see. And for as much as this game has brought to the table, for as much infinite possibility in a sandbox style game like this, with a story mode in the sandbox, with as many factions as they provided, I mean, this is an incredible universe to me. Your mileage may vary, I am sure, but this is absolutely incredible. And I am so thrilled and just cannot wait to continue playing this absolute wonderful, delightful time sink of a game. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that I can put together some more playthroughs for y'all to enjoy, and for me to enjoy, because I enjoy playing, because it's a cool game. Now, all that yammering aside, as I'm running around the sides of my wings here, it occurs to me I can pull back. You can add half-halves in as kind of a walkway, and they are called walkways. I could pull that back a notch and just have that be a straight shot. So instead of hitting a wall there and then having to turn the corner and then go into here, I could make that almost a straight shot, I believe. Or am I crazy? You know, do I? No, I wouldn't do that. It would just make it'd make a pocket back here. I don't know what I'm talking about. So you would, never. Brain broke. If I added a half-hab or a walkway back here, it would give me a third wampin cargo slot down here. So I may do that. In Futuro here in the future, and I may knock that back here, extend it back, pull this motor engine back flush with these guys, and then and go from there, because that might actually make it a lot more accessible. I mean, that's another 100 cargo slots, so if I need it, I'm gonna do it. Well, that's pretty much what I got for this video, but I just wanted to show you folks just how much progression you can expect in a relatively short time scale. And gosh, I really wish I knew how to recolor the interior wall here somewhat easily, because it doesn't want to let me just slap a window there, because there's a vent on the other side, because I should know that. But I mean, gosh, this game is just beautiful. There's so much going on. There's so much interesting stuff in game. There's so much stuff to experience, to explore, and to find. And I love it so much. I just do. I love it. I think it's awesome. I hope you enjoyed as well. Questions, comments, concerns, anything that you suggest, anything that you'd like to see me cover in videos coming up, I would love to cover for you. And as you may have seen right there, yep, that's my reactors. I've got 2 stacked, tucked in back there. Anyway, that's what I got for now. I'll see you Starside. Hope you've enjoyed, and hope to speak with you more in the future.